I should have walked away the moment her hand brushed mine, but I didn't. It was late. Quiet. The kind of silence that sinks into your skin. I was sitting on the edge of their deck, nursing a beer that had long gone warm, trying not to look back at the kitchen window where she stood, silhouetted in golden light. Her name was Laura, my best friend's mom. 46, maybe 47, divorced, sharp-eyed, always graceful, the kind of woman who didn't just walk into a room but filled it. I wasn't supposed to be there. Not really. Josh had bailed on our usual Friday hangout, something about last-minute plans with his girlfriend, and I'd already driven over, figuring I'd crash for a bit or maybe raid their fridge before heading home. But Laura opened the door with that calm smile of hers and said, "You're welcome to stay. No reason we both have to spend the night alone." It didn't sound like anything, but something in the way she said it hit different. We ended up on the back deck. Just the two of us. Crickets humming. The air thick with summer. She poured herself a glass of wine and leaned back in the chair across from me, bare feet tucked under her, loose sweater slipping slightly off one shoulder. I tried not to notice. Failed. "So," she said after a long sip, "what's going on in your life, really?" I laughed it off, tried to shrug. "Nothing exciting." "You say that like it's a good thing," she replied, eyes fixed on mine. "But you're young. You should be chasing something. Or someone." Something flickered behind her gaze. A softness. Or maybe it was the wine. Or maybe it was me, projecting. I couldn't tell. But I liked the way she looked at me. Not like a boy. Not like Josh's buddy. Like a man who was seen. We talked. About music, regrets, loneliness. The conversation dipped and wandered. She told me about the first time she got her heart broken. She'd been 23, living in New York, thinking she had the whole world in her hands. I listened. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to hear every word she gave me. Then the mood shifted. It was a small thing. I don't even know why I said it. But I mentioned I hadn't really been with anyone seriously in a while. That dating just felt empty. And she tilted her head, set her glass down, and said, low and smooth, "Ever been with a real woman?" My chest thumped. I couldn't look away. She didn't laugh. Didn't smirk. She meant it. Not as a tease. Not as a joke. Her voice was soft, honest. Like she was letting something slip out she'd been holding in for a while. And suddenly the distance between us, the years, the labels, the unspoken lines, felt paper thin. I wanted to say something. I didn't know what. The words sat on the edge of my tongue, heavy and hot. Her eyes searched mine like she was waiting for a sign. Maybe she saw it. Maybe I gave it. Because she stood up, walked slowly toward me. And then, the doorbell rang. She stopped. Mid-step. Her breath caught. Mine, too. We stared at each other like we'd been caught doing something we hadn't done yet. Like the air itself had changed. The spell wasn't broken, not yet, but something had just cracked open. Something real. And I knew, no matter what happened next, there was no going back. The doorbell echoed like a warning shot. Laura froze mid-step, and the moment cracked. Her eyes flicked toward the sound, then back to me. She didn't move right away. "I should get that," she said softly, as if apologizing. I nodded, trying to steady my breath, my heart still racing from what she'd just said. "Ever been with a real woman?" She disappeared inside, leaving the door half open behind her. I stayed rooted to the deck, staring at the place she'd been standing, running over every second in my head. Was I reading too much into it? Did she mean it the way I heard it? And if she did, what did I do now? A few minutes passed. Whoever was at the door didn't stay long, probably a neighbor or package. When she came back out, her face was carefully blank, lips tight, like she'd pulled herself back together in the mirror. But the tension in her shoulders hadn't gone anywhere. She sat again, but not as close this time. The silence between us wasn't easy anymore. It hummed with things unsaid. "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable," she said, eyes on the dark yard. "Not me." "You didn't," I said too quickly. Then added, softer, "I just didn't know what to say." Laura let out a quiet laugh. Neither did I. We both stared ahead. I wanted to ask why. Why did she say it? Why now? Instead, I said, "You ever regret being careful?" That got her attention. She turned, brows raised. "What do you mean?" I shrugged. "I don't know. Holding back. Playing it safe. Not saying something when you wanted to." Laura looked away again, but this time there was a faint smile on her lips. Tired, wistful. "I've been careful most of my life," she said. Married young. Had Josh before I really knew who I was. Stayed married longer than I should have. Played the role. I watched her closely. She rarely talked about her ex. All I knew was they split 3 years ago. Quietly. No drama. I'm just now learning what I want, she added. Which is terrifying when the world's already decided who you're supposed to be. Her voice cracked slightly on that last word, be. Not loud, not dramatic. Just enough to show the weight she carried. I wanted to tell her I saw her. Not as Josh's mom. Not as a mistake waiting to happen. But as someone real. Someone who didn't pretend. Someone who didn't scare me, even if everything about this should have. But I didn't say that. Instead, I told her about me. About my last relationship, how it ended not with a fight, but with a slow fading. How I'd never really felt like I was chosen, not fully. Like I was a backup plan, a placeholder. Laura looked at me, eyes soft, guarded. You deserve more than that, she said. And then, quietly, deliberately, she reached across the small table and let her fingers graze mine. Not a full touch, just a brush. But it sent something electric through me. We didn't speak. We didn't move. The space between our hands pulsed with something raw, something we both felt but still couldn't name. Not yet. Her fingers grazed mine, soft, deliberate, and for a breathless second, neither of us moved. Then I heard it. A car pulling into the driveway. Laura's hand snapped back. She stood, fast, wiping her palms on her jeans like the heat between us had left a mark. That's probably Josh. My stomach dropped. I hadn't even realized how late it had gotten. Footsteps on gravel. A car door closing. Then the unmistakable sound of Josh's voice calling, Mom? Laura's eyes met mine. Wide, sharp, panicked. In an instant, the warm vulnerability between us vanished behind a wall of control. She stepped toward the sliding door. Go to the guest room, she said, low and quick. Just don't let him see you out here. I hesitated, but the urgency in her voice pushed me into motion. I slipped inside and down the hallway just as the front door opened. I could hear them talking, muffled but light. Casual. Normal. I leaned against the wall in the dark, heart hammering. What the hell were we doing? It wasn't just the age. It wasn't just that she was my friend's mom. It was the way something real had crept in, something dangerous. Something I wasn't sure either of us could control if we let it keep going. But I wanted to. God, I wanted to. 15 minutes passed. I heard Josh laughing in the kitchen, heard the fridge door open and close, the sound of a beer cracking. Then his footsteps headed upstairs. Another pause. Then soft footsteps down the hallway toward me. Laura appeared in the dim light, barefoot, arms folded tightly across her chest. He's going to bed, she whispered. You won't come down. I nodded, unsure what that meant, unsure what any of this meant. She leaned against the opposite wall, maybe 3 feet away from me, both of us swallowed in shadow. We shouldn't, she started, but her voice broke. This can't happen. You know that. I know, I said, but neither of us moved. She looked at me then, really looked, and I could see the war inside her, guilt, want, fear, all tangled up in something neither of us had asked for. I'm not supposed to feel this way, she said, barely audible. Not about you. Then tell me to go, I said. I will. She didn't. The silence between us stretched, thick with everything we weren't saying. Finally, she stepped closer, slowly, and for one suspended heartbeat, we were inches apart. Her breath brushed my cheek. Her lips parted. And then a crash upstairs. Josh cursing. We jerked apart like the house had been struck by lightning. Laura blinked fast, swallowing whatever had been about to happen. I should check on him, she said, already stepping away. I watched her disappear down the hall, pulse still racing, lips tingling from a kiss that almost was, and still might be. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. Not with her just down the hall. Not with that almost kiss still burning on my lips. At some point, I heard Josh leave for the gym, early, before the sun even broke. His usual Saturday routine. The front door shut, the engine started, and the silence that followed was deafening. I got up, padded to the kitchen. She was already there, barefoot, hair up, a mug in her hands. She didn't look surprised to see me. Just tired, worn down in a way that felt deeper than the night. You didn't sleep, she said softly. Neither did you. She gave a faint nod. I was dropping to her coffee. This is crazy, she said, voice thin. You know that, right? Yeah, I said. I do. She took a long sip, like maybe caffeine could brace her for what she didn't want to say. But I couldn't keep pretending we were fine. You were going to kiss me last night. Laura's eyes snapped to mine. For a second, she looked like she might deny it. But then something in her gave up. I know, she said. I almost did. So why didn't you? She didn't answer right away. Just set the mug down with both hands, staring at the counter like it might give her strength. Because you're Josh's friend, she said finally. Because you're 23. Because I'm supposed to know better. You do, I said. And you still wanted to. That hit something raw in her. She turned, pacing a few steps, then spun back. You think I don't feel guilty? She snapped, voice low but fierce. You think I haven't been asking myself what the hell I'm doing? I stepped forward. Then stop pretending it's not real. I have to pretend, she said, eyes shining now. Because if I let this be real, I lose control. I lose everything. Her voice cracked, and I felt it in my chest like a punch. You're the first person in a long time who makes me feel seen, she whispered. And it scares the hell out of me. My breath caught. She was right there. All of her fierce, scared, alive. I reached out, fingers brushing her wrist. She didn't pull away. I don't want to be some mistake you regret, I said. But I also can't keep acting like this doesn't mean anything. Her lips parted, her breath shallow. Do you want me to leave? I asked. She shook her head, slow, almost imperceptible. Her hand turned under mine, fingers lacing with mine like it was the only true thing left in the room. I don't know what I'm doing, she breathed. I just know I don't want you to stop. We stood like that, every inch of space between us heavy with everything we weren't allowed to say. And then, just as she leaned closer, just as our foreheads brushed, a knock at the door. Her eyes flew open. Neither of us moved. Not yet. The knock echoed through the quiet house like a gunshot. Laura jerked back, breath caught in her throat. Her hand slipped from mine. The warmth vanished. The moment shattered. We stood frozen. The knock came again, louder this time. I'll get it, she whispered, her voice barely holding together. She smoothed her hair, tried to fix the cracks in her composure as she moved toward the door. I stayed in the kitchen, heart pounding. Then I heard it. Josh? What's going on? He said, confused. Why didn't you answer your phone? I didn't hear it, Laura replied too quickly. I was just getting coffee. I crept closer, around the corner but hidden. Josh's voice dropped, tense. Why's your bedroom door open? And why are there 2 mugs on the counter? My stomach flipped. Silence. Then Josh said, flat and sharp, Is someone here? Another pause. I could see Laura's back, stiff, frozen. Then she turned halfway toward me. And what she said next felt like ice through my veins. No, she said. No one's here. The words hit like a slap. I stepped back, out of sight, heart in my throat. She lied. She chose to lie. Josh moved past her. I could hear his footsteps. I'm gonna check something real quick, he muttered. Forgot my earbuds upstairs anyway. I panicked. I couldn't let him see me, not after that. Not after what almost happened. I slipped down the hall and into the laundry room, pulling the door quietly shut behind me. I leaned against the dryer, breathing hard, heat rising behind my eyes. Why did it hurt? Why did it feel like she just slammed a door in my face I didn't even know I'd walked through? A few minutes passed. Muffled voices. Footsteps upstairs. A door closing. Then, the soft creak of the laundry room door opening. It was her. She stepped in quickly and shut it behind her. Her eyes were wild, scared, overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do, she said, voice shaking. I panicked. You told him no one was here. Because what was I supposed to say? She snapped, then softened. I wasn't trying to hurt you. But you did, I said. You made me feel like I'm something to hide. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. I'm scared, she whispered. Not of you. Of what this means. If he finds out, if this comes out, it could destroy everything. I looked at her, really looked, and saw it for what it was. This wasn't just guilt. It was fear. Fear of losing her son. Fear of losing herself. I care about you, I said. But I won't be your secret forever. She didn't respond. Just stood there, shaking, torn open. And then from down the hall, Josh's voice again, closer this time. Mom? Who were you just talking to? Her eyes met mine, full of panic. We both knew. This moment? It had changed everything. Josh's voice drew closer. Fast. Heavy footsteps down the hall. I stepped out of the laundry room before she could stop me. I couldn't hide anymore. Josh rounded the corner and froze when he saw me standing there, barefoot, still in yesterday's clothes, face tense with everything I wasn't sure how to say. His eyes flicked between me and his mom. And I saw it. The moment it clicked. His jaw clenched. Are you serious? Josh, Laura started, stepping forward. This isn't. You told me no one was here, he cut in. You lied to me. I was going to tell you, she said, voice trembling. No, You weren't. He looked at me now, betrayed. What the hell, man? You're my friend. I didn't plan for this, I said quietly. Neither of us did. You slept with her? His voice cracked, raw and rising. Is that what this is? No, I said. We didn't. But we felt something, and we didn't know how to stop it. Josh shook his head, backing away like he didn't recognize either of us. Laura reached for him. Please just listen. Don't, he said, pulling away. You're my mom. And with that, he stormed out, the front door slamming behind him. Silence. Just us again. But it didn't feel the same. The air was heavier now. Realer. I ruined it, she whispered. No, I said. We did this. Together. She collapsed onto the couch, face in her hands. I just wanted something to feel right again. For once. I sat beside her, not touching her. Just there. You weren't wrong to feel it, I said. Neither was I. But maybe we were wrong to believe it could stay in a bubble. That no one would get hurt. She looked at me, tears in her eyes, but steadier now. Older, somehow. Not fragile, just real. Maybe we don't get to have this, she said. Maybe this was just a moment. I swallowed. The words scraped going down. But it mattered. She nodded. Slowly. It did. We sat there, side by side, heart still beating too loud. I wanted to say I loved her. But maybe it wasn't love. Maybe it was just the kind of connection that wakes you up, that shows you something about yourself you didn't know was there. And maybe that was enough. Eventually, I stood. She looked up at me. Are you going? I think I should. Her lips pressed together, holding back whatever she wanted to say. At the door, I turned. If I could choose this again, I would. She smiled then, small, pained, beautiful. So would I. And that was it. No kiss. No promises. Just two people who met in the middle of something complicated, lit a fire, and now had to live with what they'd set ablaze. I stepped outside. The morning sun hit my face, and I walked into it, not sure where I was going, but knowing I'd never be the same. 3 weeks passed. Josh didn't call. I didn't reach out. Sometimes silence says everything. And this one said, we're not ready. I moved back to my place. Got busy with work, late nights, distractions that didn't really distract. Every so often, I'd scroll past a photo of him and me from some trip, some game, and feel that familiar twist in my chest. I missed him, but I missed her more. Not in the physical way, though that pull never really left. I missed her voice, the way she saw through my walls, the way she made me feel like I wasn't waiting to start my life. I was already in it. Then one night, she texted. He came by. We talked. That was all. But it landed like a deep breath I hadn't taken in weeks. I asked, how did it go? Her reply took a minute. Hard, but honest. We're okay. Not fixed, but okay. I stared at the screen, thumbs hovering. Then, and us. Another pause. That's different. That's not about okay. That's about what we want. I sat with that. What did I want? I thought about what it would take to be with her, not just in secret, but out in the open. The weight of it. The stares. The opinions. Josh. Her past. My future. But also, the way I felt when I was near her. Seen. Grounded. Lit up. We met again, eventually. Quietly. No deck this time. No wine. Just coffee on a cold morning at a small cafe a town over. No pressure. No lines to cross. We talked. About life. About what we'd meant to each other, and what we might still mean, if we were willing to try. I don't need promises, she said. I just need truth. And that was the truth. We didn't know where this would go. We just knew it had already changed us. Not in the reckless, heart-racing way anymore. In the way people change when they've been seen, when someone knows the mess and stays anyway. We decided to take it slow. Not because we were afraid, but because this time, we weren't hiding. And that's the strange thing about love. It doesn't always come in the package you expect. Sometimes it shows up wearing 20 years of life you haven't lived yet. Sometimes it's wrapped in guilt, and timing, and impossible choices. And yet, it still feels right. I don't know what happens next. Maybe we make it. Maybe we don't. But I'll always be grateful for her. Because before her, I thought love was just about timing. About finding someone who looked right on paper. She showed me it was about truth. And even if that truth gets complicated, it's still worth chasing. Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Romance? Forbidden love? Redemption arcs? Let me know. Your next favorite story starts with a single line.